Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Every Day is Friday, the show where we dive into the stories and experiences from people from all walks of life. Today, I am joined by Kyle, an online fitness coach who helps busy parents lose weight, gain confidence, and live life with purpose. If you ever struggled with fitness while juggling a family and work, this episode's for you. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe for you don't miss episodes like this. Let's get into it. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. Thank you for being willing to do this for a third time.
Yeah,
We've
third
tried
time's
this
the charm.
we've tried this a few times. I'm so sorry, but yeah, here we are, dude. Thank you for having me on.
No, I'm excited to have you on. And for the listeners who may not be familiar with your line of work yet, can you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So my name's Kyle Bernier. I'm a CrossFit athlete. I'm an online fitness coach. I'm a father. I help people get in shape. Now, specifically, I do like working, and the niche seems to be coming to me. I didn't necessarily pick it, but I'm falling into it. Just busy professionals and busy parents. Being a parent myself, I understand that it is challenging, very challenging. And so I work mostly with those types of people and helping them overcome limiting beliefs, really, because fitness is fundamental. It's not about like, hey, this is going to be a revolutionary workout. It's more about helping them overcome limiting beliefs and not make excuses and be consistent and get like actually see results. So that's what I do currently, and it's a blast.
No, that is actually very powerful because a lot of people need this knowledge that you have on how to, balance fitness and a family life. I mean, it's always fascinating to hear the why behind everyone's passions. I mean, how did your journey into fitness coaching begin?
Yeah, it began just as a way to make money because I wanted to compete in sports and I wanted to compete in CrossFit and I needed to work. And so I was already training at a CrossFit gym or several CrossFit gyms. And so it made sense for me to work in that same space, whether it was personal training or coaching or whatever. I could have done something else, but that's the route I wanted to go because I was putting in 2 or 3 workouts a day. And it's like, I need to just like live in the gym essentially. And so that's what I did. And that's how I really got into coaching. And then it's progressed over the years now to where I'm doing it virtually and doing it online. It's, I like it because you can reach more people, right? And you can actually like, I like the virtual space, but it also allows me the freedom to do other things like content creation, a little more freedom during the day and things like that. So yeah, that's why I got into it.
Now, why did you niche down to just parents? Parents have a lot on their plate. I mean, why did you choose them to help?
Mostly because they needed it. Like being an athlete myself, it's way, it's, I love working with athletes because I'm an athlete myself. I love doing that and it's a blast. But the reality is there's more people out there who need help getting in shape and staying in shape and being held accountable than there are athletes who are trying to make the top 0.0001%, right? Like there's just more people who need the services that I can offer. And so I actually had to make that tough decision of like, rather than pursuing what I quote unquote wanted, it's like, I just want to work with athletes. It's like, yeah, but more people need you here and you can help them. And I was like, all right, you know what, then I'm going to commit to that. And that's what I'm going to do.
Now, Kyle, with all your years of experience, I mean, what's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to lose weight?
Fantastic question and very hard to answer. The biggest mistake, I think that people make is not managing their expectations. They think that all they have to do is like work harder or just do this thing and it's just going to like magically happen instead of understanding that it's a lifestyle. It's a genuine, like you just have to become the person that is fit and active. Like that, you just have to become that person. There is no magic pill. There is no like, well, I'm going to do this thing for a little while. I'm going to be there and whatever. Like you have to just actually decide that you want to be a fit and healthy person and then always be consistent with it. And I think they struggle wrapping their head around that, right? They think like, well, what's the workout routine I need to do? Well, any workout routine. You're not doing anything, so you need to do something. That's number one. Well, what nutrition do? Okay, well, it's just calories in versus calories out. It's a numbers game. Like you can Google that and figure it out. Like you just have to decide that this is the person you want to be, and then go be that person. That's it.
Yeah, understand that why. Why are you actually working out? Why are you doing this? And
Yeah.
how can parents fit workouts into like a busy schedule?
It's not hard. And that's the thing I find on all the calls that I hop on. It's not hard. They're just making excuses. And maybe that sounds oversimplified and mean, but it's true. So many of them are like, well, I mean, yeah, I could be getting up earlier. It's like, well, why aren't you? Like, you're not getting up early to work out, dude. Get up and work out. Or they get home from work and they're like, man, I get off of work at 4:30 and I'm just so tired. It's like, you get off at work at 4:30 and you don't go to bed till 11. What are we doing in all that time? You can't bring a dumbbell to the practice where your kids are at. You can't, like, you can do something. And that's kind of what that's what ends up becoming a lot of these calls, is like them realizing, man, I am just making excuses. I'm just not prioritizing it. I'm being lazy. And so I help them realize that, and I'm very direct with them. And I'm like, hey, you need to step up. And it's that simple. And they realize that, and they're like, you know what, you're right. I do. And then it's just holding them accountable to that.
Yeah, you want to hear a fun fact? A 1 hour workout is 4% of your day.
That's it.
No
It's crazy.
excuses.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of people who are super busy and still maintain their high level of fitness, like that are crazy busy. They're doing all sorts of things. They're juggling this, that, and the other, but they still decide to get their health and fitness. And even if you can't get an hour, like if you can commit to 30 minutes, like a 30-minute really intense kettlebell dumbbell workout right in your living room, and then you dial in nutrition, you stay committed to that, like you will be fine. Is it optimal for like going and doing some crazy, I don't know, event that you might want to do? Maybe not, but it's optimal for fitness and just being healthy.
Yeah, and the tier 2 to tier 1 gyms actually have daycare for busy parents out there that if they want to bring their kid to, that
Oh
actually
yeah.
can help them out to if they can actually get that workout in. And like
Yeah.
discipline is like doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to do it.
That's it, man. That's 100% what it is. It's the a lot of people will come to me, man. I'm just motivated. I'm just motivated to make a change, and I'm like, that's cool, but that's gonna last for about 2 months. And I tell that to the people who decide to work with me. I'm like, I want you to know right now, 2 months into this, you're not going to enjoy this anymore. Like, we need to go ahead and understand that. Like, you're going to be tired. You're not going to want to go do the workout. It's going to start to feel mundane again. You're going to get the shiny object syndrome and like, well, maybe I just need a different coach. I need a different workout. That is where the rubber actually meets the road, and you got to decide what you're going to do. Like that moment. So right now, enjoy this high. It's awesome. It's going to fade. And you got to figure out at that point in time, like who you're going to be. And I let them know up front, and without fail, every single time that's what happens. And we have those conversations, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is your moment. Who are you going to be?
Yeah, starting is easy, but like how do they keep going? I mean, how do parents stay consistent with their fitness goals?
Largely through accountability. That's the biggest piece that we offer, and I think any good coach out there offers as well is accountability, where it's a constant reminder, whether it's through a text or a phone call or whatever, and it's like, hey, did you get your workout in? Hey, how are you feeling? Hey, are you whatever? And just that constant reminder is like, oh yeah, I'm in this program. Oh yeah, I committed to this. Oh yeah, I need to do that. And eventually, over time, once they've formed the habit, it does become easier. I mean, it's just like anything. Like once you do it enough times, it becomes just a part of your life, right? Like that's the whole James Clear Atomic Habits thing. It's if you just do it for 3 or 4 weeks consistently, like it will become a natural part. It won't feel weird. It'll feel weird not to do it. And once you get to that point where it feels weird not to go to the gym and not get your workout in, okay, now we're in a sweet spot. Because now if you go a few days, you're like, okay, I don't like this. I'm itching. I'm feeling anxious. I need to go move my body. And then that's when we get there, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, and your body hears everything your mind says. So, what your thoughts are going into your head, and your mind has to be stronger than your feelings at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. And what's crazy too is it's kind of twofold, right? Like your brain, like you controlling your thoughts will genuinely help you control your body. Meaning, like if you don't let negative thoughts in and you think positive things, you're more likely to go and act positive and do the things that you need to do. You're more likely. But what's also crazy is the body affects the brain dramatically. And so if we can get you to just go do something physical, right? Like it will drastically work its way upstream and change your thought process. Like the reduction in anxiety afterwards, the flood of dopamine and endorphins is gonna help you like look at the world more positively and feel more confident, which is gonna radiate out into your life. And so sometimes if you're not quite there mentally yet, if you can just force yourself to do something hard and physical, that stimulus on the body will affect the brain, and then it becomes a good positive loop.
Yeah, why is mindset so important?
I mean, it's everything. It really is everything. Your mindset. And I want to be clear too with the audience here, because I think sometimes on these podcasts, when we hear people talk, when we're in this position, we can kind of put the person talking up on a pedestal, like, oh man, they must just have it all figured out. So I just want to be clear for the audience, like I don't have it all figured out. I still struggle with like we were talking beforehand about all the crap I've been dealing with my apartment, and it has just about wrecked me. I mean, it's been really stressful and very frustrating, but I come back to the mindset piece of like, if you can shift your perspective and genuinely control the thoughts that are in your mind, or at least take them captive and change the thoughts and change the narrative and reframe consistently, it changes the way you view the world. And if you can change the way you view the world and change the way you view yourself, you're more likely to do the things that you know you need to do that are good for you, right? Instead of looking at everything as against you, you look at it as for you. You're like, oh, okay, well, this is good. This is happening for a reason. And it changes mindset. Mindset really is everything.
That's a great takeaway. That's really powerful. Um, on that topic, what is something significant from your childhood that shaped you into who you are today?
Oh, man. You want to go there. All right. I like it. Childhood. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't want to over exaggerate my childhood. There are plenty of kids who had a far worse childhood than I did, but I definitely went through some things as a kid. Um, my my parents were a mess, to say the least. They were a mess. They tried really hard, but they just really struggled. My dad had some issues that he was dealing with, and I think seeing all that and going through all that really shaped me into the type of person that like I wanted to be a driver. Like I wanted to make a change and see change in myself and others. Just because I saw the effects of not doing that. My parents were genuinely a mess. And my mom might hear. My dad passed away, but my mom might hear this and she might get frustrated. But it's just the truth. They were a mess, and I don't want to live like that. And so I'm on a mission to change myself and others as best we can to just like to grow into the people that we know we can be. I don't know if that answers your question. It wasn't very specific, but hopefully that answers that question.
No, they answered my question to a certain degree, and like I appreciate you sharing that. And now, why do some people never reach their full potential?
Why do some people never reach their full potential? I think fear. I mean, the only way to really reach your full potential is to step into the unknown. You got to take risks. Like you got to do something different. And so many people are afraid of failure, so they're afraid of trying something and it not working out, and it becoming this fulfilling prophecy of like, well, see, I told you I wasn't capable, and they don't want to experience that. They don't want to experience that moment of, well, I guess I really wasn't able to, rather than trying and seeing. Like you don't know, but you just want to. You're afraid of this thing in the future that's not even there, like, and it's totally within your power. But they're very afraid of success. And I've been talking about this a lot recently. A lot of people are very afraid of success because they're motivated by pain. And so they're in this negative loop where they start something, they fall off, they feel like crap, they get motivated to make a change, and then they start to come up, they lose some weight, they whatever. But then they're in this place where like things are going better for them, and they're like, well, what's my motivation now? Like, what's driving me? And they get kind of lost. And so they self-sabotage and they go back down and they lose, or they gain a bunch of weight back and they fall apart, and then they get motivated because they're in pain again. They don't like what they see in the mirror, and they do this whole thing, just yo-yo back and forward. And so I think people don't reach their full potential because they're scared, and they do lack discipline. They lack the ability to make a hard choice over and over and over, which just comes from practice, you know?
Yeah, practice makes perfect. And I think a lot of people out there are afraid to fail. And for
Yeah.
me personally, I learned so much from my failures. Even from the podcasts I've had that I failed from, I've learned the most from. I've grown
Yeah.
from the most. And I feel like maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like a lot of people like to stay in their comfort zone. And what's your take on that?
Yeah, comfort. That's a question I ask people when I'm on a phone call with them. I say, what's your relationship like with discomfort? And without fail, they're like, I don't like it. I don't like discomfort. And nobody does. But if you can learn how to embrace it, that's where you see the change. And yeah, people don't want to leave that comfort zone. The comfort of being miserable, the comfort of the known, man, will just suck you in. It really will. I found myself in that boat recently because I just stopped working at a restaurant. You know, it's like I've been growing this business. So for people out there who think I'm just annihilating it, like I'm still growing my business. Same way you're growing your podcast. Like we're in the beginning stages of all this stuff. And I found myself working one night and having a blast, which is cool. I was enjoying it, but I was like, this kind of terrifies me. Like I'm enjoying this, which I feel like is going to make me less likely to want to leave, which means I'm going to be stuck here. I was like, I don't want to be stuck here, you know? But a lot of people they get really comfortable in really crappy situations because there are elements of it that might be nice. You know, they've got a secure paycheck. They've got friends that they can hang out with. They've got a schedule that they can rely on. They've got all this stuff that's like very comfortable. But deep down, they're like, I don't like this. I'm miserable. I'm meant for more, but I don't want to leave this because what if? Like, what if? And they'll lay down at night, man, and they will deal with the anxiety. They'll deal with not being able to sleep, all that stuff because they are scared to step out in the unknown. But that lack of sleep is telling them, hey, like you got to do something different.
No, I'm proud of you for taking steps outside of your comfort zone and, moving into a new place and everything's not working out, but you keep on pushing through no matter what they say.
Yeah, dude, it's been insane. The internet's been not working. I declined. I had a Monday recently where I had like 5 or 6 booked calls with potential clients. I had to cancel all of them. All of them. And I'm like, that's not a good start to this. Like I would like to bring on some clients and make some money and help them improve. And it's like, that really sucks. But yeah, that's what happens. And if anyone tells you different, like that it looks pretty and it's whatever, it is far from it.
Yeah, it's life. Life's a roller coaster ride. It's filled with, high highs and low lows. It's up and down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how do you train your mind and body together?
What do you mean by that? I feel like I know what you mean, but what do you mean?
I mean, so a lot of people struggle with having the mental ability to get out there and train and with their body to do it as well. So a lot of people like out there, they're like, okay, they get the motivation, but then they don't understand that you got to have like your body's a temple at the end of the day. You got your mind, you got your body, and then you got your I like to say spirit. But if you take a second and you step back and you actually realize what your body is a temple, and you just you embrace what you are and you put into your body what you actually want to be. You know what I'm saying? So the trick to manifestation for me is you actually have thought and then you take action and then there's manifestation to it. I mean, what's your take on that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think it all comes down to actions. I mean, yes, first the thought, but at the end of the day, you have to do something, right? You have to actually, act, and then let go of the result, or let go of what you're hoping the result would be, because you don't know. I think, like, with this whole podcast thing, like, I imagine your hope is that it's going to grow into a massive podcast, right? But like, you don't know, and it's kind of the unfortunate part of working hard towards something. Like, I invested 12 years in CrossFit, and like, I never made a ton of money from it at all. Like, and that sucked. I gave my heart and soul to that thing. But it's about falling in love with who you become along the way, right? And that's more important ultimately, because you'll always find, like, for you specifically, you'll always find a way to go make some money or to do this or whatever. Like, there's always a way to do that. But who you become in this process is far more important. And I think if people can fall in love with that, like, I'm doing this, yes, to lose weight, yes, to look better, yes, to build my confidence, whatever. But more importantly, like, I just want to become the type of person who works hard and stays committed and honors the things like, I want to be that person. If you can fall in love with that, that's entirely within your control. You will always win.
Yeah, no, I love how you put that. I resonate with that. It's about the journey, not the destination, but the personal development throughout the journey. And most people quit right before a breakthrough.
Yeah, man. Oh gosh, dude, I hang on to that. I think, again, since you and I are both in the beginning phase, I think you and I are both kind of hanging on to that, where it's like there have been moments, I'm sure, where you're like, what am I doing? This is a waste of time. Like, I've had so many of those moments where I'm frustrated, but it's like, yeah, but what if I don't quit? Like, what if I don't? What if in a year from now, because I didn't quit, I'm so happy? Like, what if? And if you can hang on to that, man, and it's like, dude, that will change everything.
Yeah, and success isn't about luck. It's about building on habits.
Yeah. What do they say luck is? Isn't it like where opportunity and hard work collide? Isn't that what it is? Or something like,
I like to say luck is luck. I don't believe in luck. Luck is being prepared for the opportunity, and the opportunity is there all the time.
that's it, man. That really is it. Like, if you put the work in and you keep showing up, next thing you know, you'll get lucky. You'll come across someone or something will happen, but because you put the work in and because you're ready, boom, there you go. Like, that's your manifestation.
No, it's deep, and I appreciate you sharing all the information you have. What's one lesson you wish more people understood?
That it's going to be really hard. Yeah. I think accepting that is ultimately what you have to learn to do. It's like, it's just going to be hard. Right. Alex Ramosi says that. And I posted his, it was like a voiceover with some music in the background on a clip I posted on social media, but where he said, what they don't tell you is that the long way is the short way, because like the short way never works. And so it's always going to be hard, but it's not going to be hard forever. And so I think if you can just accept that, like, it's going to be challenging, like, you're so much more prepared to actually get after it. Because, like I said, dude, people start working with me and then they realize, man, you mean I'm always going to have to do lunges? Well, like, yeah, at least a few times a month. Like, you're going to have to, like, at the end of the day, you're just going to have to put the work in. You got to do it, and it's going to be hard. And if it's not hard, you're not getting better. And so you got to learn to accept that. I think that's probably the one lesson that I think more people need to understand, and I'm still developing within myself.
Yeah, Alex Ramosi made a post this morning, and I liked it. It was one of those things that he goes, "There's two paths, and take the tougher one because your future self will thank you." And at the end of the day, it's all for nothing because you're gonna die eventually.
That's it, man. That's it. It's kind of crazy. I like Alex Ramosi, man. I wonder if he's a Christian. Are you a Christian?
I'm Catholic.
Okay, I don't know. I wonder if he's a Christian, because he says some stuff that's it's very, very biblical. I'm like, it's interesting. Interesting thought.
Yeah, no. If anyone out there really wants a strong mindset on business, I mean, he is the guy for it. I mean, he's done so many businesses from gym startups to acquisitions to anything out there. I mean, his motivation is crazy out there, and I just
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people feel stuck at a young age, but when they're younger, they need to step out of their comfort zone and take the chance.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Yeah. The more you can take, yeah. I mean, if you can start when you're younger. So if anyone out there's listening who is younger, yeah, if you can start now, that's fantastic because you're building a foundation and there's less overall risk, I guess, right now. If you are younger, like if you fail, like, and you're still living with your parents, it's like, okay, well, you can still live with your parents. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to not be able to pay rent or something like that. But even if you're older, I think finding ways to take risks and kind of build up your tolerance to it and sort of progressive overload into taking more and more risks is a really good. You should. I really genuinely think you should practice it, and the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it.
Now, Kyle, why do you think younger people struggle with self-doubt or self-belief?
It could be a lot of things. You know, I think it's different from person to person. Some people have really terrible parents. Like some young kids have really terrible parents that don't speak life into them, and that affects them, right? It could be that. It could be social media. I think social media is really great, but it's also really detrimental in some ways. And I think if people are investing a ton of time looking at other people's lives, they start to feel like, how am I ever going to measure up? I mean, I struggle with that. I look at other content creators and fitness guys, and I'm like, man, it just seems like they got it all together. What am I doing wrong? You know, and I don't know what the case is. And so it leads to me doubting myself and my abilities and what I'm doing. So I think that can be part of it. I think it could also just be, yeah, I mean, I think it could be a host of different things, but those two things are really what came to mind there.
Yeah, I just hope a lot of listeners that are younger just really believe that anything is possible as long as you put your mind to it. And a lot of people out there just when they're younger, they don't understand their mindset at an early age. It can be so powerful if you start strong with it. And
Yeah.
don't fall into the bullying and social media and everything else with this world today. I mean, a lot of people really they kind of like coat themselves in a blanket with that when they start getting bullied or something like that, and they're like, oh, you don't look you're not that good looking or something like that. They're like, yeah, they start looking at themselves in the mirror and they start believing in it, and they
Yeah.
can't be doing that. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings.
Yeah. 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 You have to really take hold of truths in those moments, right? Like if you are getting made fun of or, well, I don't know, whatever the situation is that's leading you to doubt or have anxiety or whatever, you got to replace those lies with truths because that's all they are. They're just lies, right? And the truth is like you're valuable. You can achieve anything. Like you are smart. You are what, like those are the truths and you got to believe that. And if anybody is getting made fun of, surprised we're talking about bullying, but if someone is getting made fun of, like you have got to realize that is like they're doing it because they're insecure and they're threatened by you, and for some reason, or they're threatened by something, and they're externalizing it onto you, and that's their problem, not yours, right? The other side of this too that I do want to hit on is like let's. I'm just going to be very blunt, and maybe I come across as a dickhead, and I don't mean to, but let's say someone is fat, and they are getting bullied for being fat. Okay, on one hand, you got to realize that those kids, they're a-holes. But on the other hand, you got to realize you are fat, and you might need to actually take action and step up and like make a change. So like, it's not an excuse to not take action either. There might be an element of some of it that is true, and if it is, okay, face it, process it, get to work, and that's the only thing you can do. But don't let it make you get bitter at the world. Just use it as fuel, and use it as fuel to encourage others to make a change. Like turn it for good. But if there is something about your life that you do need to change and someone's calling you out, but they're being an a-hole about doing it, take what's true, use it, move on. I don't know if that made any sense, but
No, it's just one step at a time can change everything. I had a guest on my podcast in my early days, and he was talking about how bullying, just like you were saying, helped him actually lose weight and understand like why was he not getting any girls? Because he was overweight, he had acne, and he had all these problems, and he was getting bullied because of it. It made his mindset shift into, hey, I'm going to get in better shape. I want to get these girls, and I want to change my life for the better.
yeah, yeah, dude. Whatever you can use as fuel, use it. 100%. And some people don't ever get to that point until they're in enough pain. I was talking about this on another podcast. Man, pain is such a powerful motivator. When you get in enough pain, you're willing to make a change. I mean, that's truthfully why I started doing all the social media stuff and pushing and trying to grow a business. It's like I was in pain. Like my life was falling apart. It had fallen apart. I was like at the end, like any deeper, and it was going to get really, really, really bad. I was like, okay, I don't like this. I'm willing to make a change. And some people don't change until they get to that point. And so it varies from person to person.
Yeah, what's one of the it is so powerful because a lot of people don't understand that pain and failure is just something that can motivate you through a tough time. And I know a lot of people like to cope in a lot of different, addictions over time.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, food's an addiction. Food's an addiction. You got drugs, you got alcohol. And, if you tell me like who you surround yourself with, I can tell you what the type of person you're going to turn into.
100%. Yeah, you got to be around people that are. That was another reason. I don't want to be. But that was another reason why I left the restaurant is the environment, right? I loved the people I worked with. They're great. That being said, like being in a restaurant or being in that environment, like that culture is just about after work, let's get drunk and let's go do this and let's go do that. And it's like, I have to be around other people who are pushing forward. And same thing for you guys out there listening. Like you got to surround yourself, just being in the presence of people who are trying to push forward. Even if you're not like talking to them, even if they don't know who you are, but if you're around them and you're seeing them and you're watching what they do, like that will help. Even reading books or listening to podcasts, all that stuff really helps. I think I don't want to get this wrong, but I think I heard on a podcast this lady talking about a study that was done that like if you're in the environment, just in the environment around people who are trying to get better, your own performance goes up by like some crazy percentage. But if you're around people who are like worse than you and don't want to get better, it drops by like 60%, something crazy where your own performance drops substantially. It's pretty insane. So yes, to your point, environment drastically affects you.
Now, Kyle, how do you keep people from not giving up in your line of work? I mean, how do you help clients stay motivated when they don't see like quick results?
I think one, it's telling them up front, like managing their expectations. And that's one qualm I have with the fitness industry. And I think it's starting to shift, but like telling them up front, hey, this is not going to be an overnight thing. Like I'm not going to be the coach that tells you, hey, 30 days, you're going to be shredded. It's like, I've been doing this for 20 years and I still like, I see videos of myself and I'm like, well, I'm not, okay. I could change some things. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for 20 years, right? It's like, you're not going to like just turn into this amazing, I don't know, whatever physique you want overnight or in 30 days or 60 days or even 90 days. It's going to take a long time, right? The point is not that. The point is to put work in and just become that person. And so I really just try to manage expectations with them, right? But then also the constant contact. That's what matters. Like the constant text or call or whatever that reminds them, and just setting it up to where like giving them all the resources that they need. So there's no excuse. The only excuse at that point is that you weren't committed enough. Like that's it. You weren't committed enough. You said you were, but you weren't. Right? I've texted you, I've called you, I've given you all your program, we've done group calls, I've reached out, like all these things. If you didn't get results, you weren't committed enough. And so, there is a certain level, only so much a coach can do. Like the athlete has to be, like what's the saying? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. right? Like, it's so true. When you're actually ready, you'll see results.
No, that's a huge takeaway. And limits are mostly in our heads. You know what I mean by that?
I think so.
Most
Yeah.
people just don't understand. You're an athlete. I'm an athlete. I know what it's like to be in a flow state, and when you accomplish something like that, it's very rewarding because you get in a big moment or something like that, and you're just like floating on air basically. You feel like,
Oh yeah.
and what's one of the biggest lessons about uh, pushing like past limits for you?
Actually, I'll tell a story about this. This is how I ended up getting really good at CrossFit, because for years, like 4 or 5 years in a row, I just wasn't punching my ticket to semifinals. And semifinals was like the 0.0001% of people make it. Like at the time, it was, far more people competed in the CrossFit Open. And so you had to be like top 20 where I was in the Southeast region. And there were hundreds of thousands of people that were competing. And to be that top 20 to go, it was like, how are we ever going to make this happen? And it did not happen for me until one specific workout. It was in 2016. I repeated a workout. And I remember before I repeated it, I meditated. Like I was at work, I was at a restaurant again working, and I was thinking to myself, like every single time I don't want to pick the bar up, or I don't want to do the lunge or whatever, I'm just going to choose to do it. I'm just going to choose to do it. And I went and I repeated the workout, and I stuck to it. I committed to actually like doing that. And I remember that's when I realized that's how this is supposed to feel. Like that's what the level of intensity is. That's what the level of effort is supposed to be. I was like, now I understand. And it wasn't until that moment that I like, if I didn't have that moment, I wouldn't have realized like, oh, okay, so this is what it looks like. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but I think people will only get there when they decide to really, really, really commit to leaning into the pain. Not just physically in a workout, whatever it is that's going on. You push past your limits by just pushing past your limits. You get up against the limit and you decide, I'm going past this. And then light bulb goes off in your brain. You're like, holy smokes, that's what this is like, and I can do it. And then you do it again. And then the ceiling just keeps going up from there.
Yeah, I mean, like you were just saying, I mean, discipline. That's what that was. I mean, discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it.
Yeah. It seems oversimplified. Like even as I listen to my self-talk about it, people out there might be like, all you're preaching is just work hard. All you're preaching is just like, just make the choice, make the whatever. And it's like, well, yeah. Like that's what it is. It is simple. It isn't easy, but it is simple. There's a guy I follow on social media. That's his handle, Michael Smoke. That's like his tagline, and I do love it. I kind of wish I would have come up with it first, but he's like, it is simple, but it isn't easy. Don't overcomplicate it. It's like, well, that's very true. And so, yeah, the people out there who might be like, man, you're just kind of oversimplifying, and you don't know my story, and you don't know this, and you don't know that. And it's like, no, I don't, but I do know you still need to make the choice, and you're not making the choice. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't make the choice to be healthy. I mean, they don't understand that their body is their temple and their life will be so much. I mean, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think it would be so much better because their lifestyle, they'll be more flexible. They'll be able to lift more stuff. They'll be able to walk around, get up on them by themselves, and do stuff for themselves more. I mean, there's two types of people out there. I mean, there's people that sit on the couch, and then there's people that get off the couch and do stuff. I mean, which one do you want to be at the end of the day?
Yeah. And you know what's crazy too, man? And I hope this scares somebody out there listening. I really hope it does. The reason so many coaches and so many people can give away free information, like I could give you my entire process right now. The vast majority of people will still choose to do nothing. They will. That's why so many people can sell programs, and then everyone's like, well, these programs don't work, and it's stupid. It's like, no, it does work. You didn't work. And so everyone out there listening, it's like, I hope that terrifies some of you in there. Like, you are going to have to choose to not be that person. You're going to have to figure it out. Or else you're going to 20, 30 years are going to go by and you're going to be like, man, I never did anything with my life because I was too scared. But a lot of people do that, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe that like big changes start with small steps. I mean, what's one small change that people can make today to start seeing results?
Results in just health and fitness.
Health and fitness.
Go for a walk. Start small. If you haven't done that, go for a walk. Just go for a walk. Get up a little bit earlier. Just do something like that. Like start small. I'm definitely not saying you need to go bury yourself in the gym and wake up tomorrow and you can't move. Definitely don't want you to do that. But one small step would be tangibly go for a walk. Two, commit to some accountability, whether it's in person where you're at or virtually with a coach like me. Take the step. You're gonna have to, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And unless you make a change, nothing's gonna change.
No, a lot of people, it's very difficult to, habits, they always break their habits. They always break their diets and stuff like that. Now, how can people stay consistent without giving up?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one, because I fall into that boat in some ways. There have been things I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this every day, and then I don't end up doing it. I think that happens when we set up unrealistic expectations for ourselves. Like sometimes it's just not even worth the effort. I'm trying to think of an example in my own life. I don't know, but I tell myself something crazy. Like one day I said, okay, I'm going to start after every workout. I'm going to do a 50-calorie echo bike sprint after every workout, no matter what. I was like, and then I go do a really hard workout and I get done. And I'm like, why am I going to do that? What's the point? I just got an amazing workout in. I got the stimulus that I needed. I don't really need to do that. That's kind of dumb. It's just extra volume for extra volume. Like that doesn't make sense, right? Unless the point is to just torture yourself, and it wasn't for me. It was like I wanted to get better, and so I think people sometimes will set up unrealistic expectations for themselves. Well, I'm going to do this, and this, and this, and this, and it's going to be this thing, and this time I'm going to do that thing, and then it's like it's too much. It's like, so let's just pick 2 or 3 things, and let's figure out how to stack that in your life where it works. Let's systemize it. Like, hey, when you wake up, go straight to drinking 32 ounces of water. Have your cup laid out the night before, put a little sea salt in it. So as soon as you wake up, you go downstairs, you see your cup full of water. That's your trigger to drink it. Drink it. There you go. That's day 1. Pretty easy, right? Like little things like that. Or setting an alarm on your phone to remind you to go to bed. Like set a recurring alarm on your phone. Goes off at 9 p.m. every night. That's your trigger. Hey, it's time to go get ready for bed and get to sleep. Little hacks like that make a huge difference. But it's doing things that in bite-sized chunks, just little bite-sized chunks that make sense, that fits into your life, and slowly but surely as things change, you add stuff in. You just can't go full board right away, and don't do unnecessary things. Like I'm going to squat every single day or something stupid like that. Or I'm going to commit to 100 burpees a day. That's what I'm going to do. It's going to get me in shape. It's like, don't do that to yourself. You're going to fail on day 3. Like, don't do that. Follow a structured plan and set your life up in a way that reduce the friction to really small things that move the needle forward.
No, a lot of people, for me personally, as soon as I wake up, I get the body moving. I do some push-ups, do some squats, then I hop in a cold shower. In the first 3 hours, I don't like to eat any food. That's my thing. Like I don't eat any food. In the last 2 hours of the day, I don't eat any food as well. And a lot of people, I understand the weekends come and they're just like, they fall off track of their routines and they want to just let go. That's the mentality a lot of people have. I mean, what's your advice for someone who always falls off track on the weekends?
If you're falling off track on the weekends, it's because you have this idea in your mind that any sort of veering off of a plan means you failed entirely, and it's not true, right? That's just not true. Like, all you have to do, this is what I preach to a lot of my people. It's like the vast majority of your year needs to be geared towards you trying to reach your goal of health and fitness. And I use the example of if 300 days out of 365 days, your consistent. That's 65 days where you weren't. That's still the majority that you were, though, right? And so take the weekend, don't binge or anything, but like if your schedule gets messed up or you go get a slice of pizza after a kid's game because that's just what worked or whatever, that doesn't mean you failed. You just get back to your process on Monday, and that's it. And that's how it becomes a lifestyle. And slowly over time, you realize, oh yeah, it's not that complicated. But I'll also say too, if you're failing on the weekends, like if your weekend gets derailed and you throw the baby out with the bathwater, I don't think you really wanted it in the first place. I think you're using that as an excuse to go ahead and go back into the old lifestyle. Because, dude, there's just that it doesn't make sense. Like, you have ice cream on Sunday and you're like, I'm a failure. I'm not doing this. It's like, let's look at that logically. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, and
No,
maybe
that's
that's
such a good
mean.
point.
Maybe that's mean. Maybe that's insensitive. But it's ultimately true. Like, it doesn't mean you derailed completely. Just get back on it Monday. You're fine.
No, like you were saying about the kids, eating some pizza or something like that. And kids learn from what they see. I mean, I don't have kids personally, but maybe you can share a little bit. I mean, how can parents get their kids involved in fitness?
Be fit yourself. Yeah, be doing it yourself for sure. I mean, I don't force anything on Maverick. He just does it. He like wants to do it because he sees me do it. You know, he's talking about having muscles and like this morning. We were saying something, but he was like, yeah, because I'm super strong and fast. You know, like he was making a joke like that, and we can already kind of see his abs, which is hilarious, which maybe part of that's genetic. Like I don't want to overlook that. There are certain elements that are genetic. Like I was really lean as a kid, so I'm sure he will be too. But it's definitely a lifestyle. You know, it's interesting when you see a parent who's overweight and you see the kids overweight. It's like, huh, like what's going on there, right? Like there's clearly something going on. It's more uncommon to see a parent who's overweight and a kid who's really lean and in shape. Like that, I think it's more uncommon. It's not impossible, but not common. So I think if you want your kids to be in shape, you got to be doing it yourself. And don't force it on them. You don't have to be like, hey, let's go work out. Just you go do it. And you enjoy it. And you make it a part of your life. And you have fun. And they'll see it. And they're going to want to be a part of it too. Because they love you. And they want to do what you do.
No, that's a great takeaway. And, a lot of kids, like I was just saying, like what they see is like, whoa, like they surround themselves with, they want to be that. I mean, if you put on Hercules, they're going to want to be Hercules in the day.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
I loved that
And,
movie as a kid.
yeah, everyone does. Everyone wants to be Hercules at the end of the day. They all want to be big and strong and,
Yeah.
just taking on the world one step at a time, taking down monsters like he does. And,
That's it, man. Yeah,
I mean,
there's
go for
definitely
it.
that. No, I was going to say like I think those stories resonate so much because there's that that hero's journey element, that we're all in that, we're all on that journey. We're all going through struggles and we got to go slay the monster, whatever it is in our life, and we've got to save like we're all on that journey. It just looks different for everyone.
Yeah, on this topic, do you have any like books or quotes that changed your life?
Yes, one in particular. And can you hear the leaf blowers right now? No, you can't.
I can hear a little bit, but I can edit in the audio.
Okay, it's
It's
of
not too
course they
bad.
would of course they would come at this time. But the quote that I have that really sticks with me is from Epictetus. It says, "To improve, one must be willing to be thought foolish and stupid." And I love that because like let's take the busy soccer mom for example, right? How crazy do you think you're going to look at your kid's soccer practice with a kettlebell doing a workout on the sideline when no one else is? You're probably gonna turn some heads, and they're like, what is she doing? Why is she doing that? Well, guess what? To improve, you're gonna have to be willing to be thought foolish and stupid. And I love that because posting on social media, I post stuff all the time that I'm sure other people are like, that's cringe. I don't like that. Well, guess what? It's changing my life. And so I'm willing to be thought foolish and stupid for the benefit of my life changing from taking that risk, right? And I think if people adopt that mindset and just be willing to be looked at as an idiot to improve, like, man, so much will change in your life.
No, it's motivating. I mean, really, whenever I see your posts, I'm like, I got to get after it too.
All right, good. I appreciate that.
No, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And
Thank you, man.
my dad usually tells me this: do today because you do not know what tomorrow will bring.
Dang, that's good. Wow. That's it, man. Yeah.
And I was on a podcast yesterday, and my guest was telling me the same thing as you are. He goes like, I was in the airport stretching, and he goes, it's not weird to stretch, but in an airport where no one else is doing it, you feel a little bit, a little bit different than normal people out there. And he's like, you got to do it though if you want to actually succeed in this world. You have to be the just not normal person. I mean, it's stretching. I mean, so what? I mean, you got to move the body. That's the thing.
Yeah. 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 What is, I think Hermosi says this, right? Like being exceptional means like being the exception. Like if you want to actually be exceptional and have exceptional results, you better do things that are like different than other people. If everyone's sitting there in their chair not moving and you're the one stretching, well, you're the one that's going to see the results of stretching. Not to take away from other people and what they're doing, but you get the point. It's like, yeah, you got to be willing to do that stuff and kind of be crazy and become obsessed about it.
On this topic, what's one challenge you think everyone should try at least once?
My first, never mind. I'm kind of weird. My first thought was like cocaine, but I'm just kidding. Like totally kidding. Don't do that. What's one challenge that everyone should face? Like, I think just pick a hard physical challenge of some sort that you've never done. Something that puts you in an element where you're really nervous, you're worried about what people think, you're going to have to stretch yourself physically. I think doing that, man, that will just change you so much. When you're in an environment where you feel vulnerable and you feel insecure and you're having all this like anxiety going on in your head, but you still have to go out there and do the thing, man, you are forced to grow as a person. So that's what I would say.
No, I love that. And a lot of people, they don't really understand that for some reason. I don't understand why though.
Yeah, I think it's because homeboy's coming over here to blow the leaves. Of course he is. I think a lot of people don't understand. I think people do understand that. I think they're just scared.
Now, the show is called Every Day is Friday, and Friday has a special energy, whether it's freedom, excitement, or just feeling of accomplishment after a long week. I want to hear from you. What does Friday mean to you?
Friday to me means rest for more work on Monday.
No, it's a good takeaway. I mean, Friday, every day is Fridays for some people like me, and you just got to keep on living in the moment. That's the big thing about it. And you know, all your information will be down in the description down below, but I want to make sure the people know where to find you. Now, where can people follow and support your work?
Yeah, you can find me on social media. It's Strain Forward Fitness. That's my Instagram handle. YouTube is Strain Forward. You can shoot me a DM there if you want. You can reach out. So I'll definitely get back to you.
No, and this is your chance to leave the listeners with something powerful. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, you can make the change. You can actually change, and you can actually make a difference in your life. You got to commit to it, and you got to do it. I think that's as simple as that is. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
That's such a good point. It's so powerful. I know the listeners got a lot of value out of this. It's been an awesome conversation. I appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for sharing your stories and experiences.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm glad we got to finally connect and do this thing.
You know, what they say, third time's the charm. And then to the listeners, stay tuned for more amazing stories on Every Day is Friday Podcast 365. If you enjoyed this, make sure to follow, share, and keep Every Day is Friday mindset going. Until next time, stay inspired and make every day feel like Friday. Until next time, everybody.